don't see anything. We just want to check.
It's 6 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Sarah, will you do roll call, please?
John Hardy.
Here.
Linda Barnhart.
Present.
Eric Gall.
Here.
Kim Morton.
Present.
Tim Lewis.
Present.
Daniel Gant.
Here.
Michael Bush.
Here.
Ronald Truitt.
Present.
Troy Barrett. Brandon Franklin.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum present and almost a completely full board. We're just missing one person tonight. That's unusual. It's the end of summer and a lot of people are on vacation, so we're happy to have everybody here and doing what they do best. Approval of the agenda. We have no changes to the agenda, right, Laura? Okay. Motion, Mr. Goff, to approve. Second by Mr. Truitt. Are you, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Sunshine Law speakers, do we have anyone that wishes to speak under the open governmental?
Good evening, Eddie Gokenauer, President of the County Commission. I just wanted to take an opportunity. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I just want to come in and thank you all for the service that you give us to the community. I know many of you are longtime servants here on this board, but your commitment and your dedication to this process is critically important, and we just wanted to say thank you. Madam President, you run a tremendous meeting. A few years ago, I sat over where John sat today, and I appreciate you and Tim, as a vice chair. And a lot of people don't ever come before you and say thank you for what you do. And you got some very tough decisions to make sometimes. You may have the public speaking their opinion, and that's how it works. But then at the same time, you have your regulations that you work off of, and then you have the recommendations of the staff. So you don't have an easy job, and it's probably the toughest board in the entire county. And I think it's time, and I apologize, I haven't been here before. I think it's time that somebody says thank you. And it's that simple. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Eddie. That was very, very kind of you. Okay, approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Truitt to approve the meeting minutes as submitted. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain due to absence.
Okay, let the record show there's one abstention by Mr. Gant due to absence. Okay, we have 3 public hearings this evening. First one is Cardinal Point, Section 7, Phase 1.
We have to recuse for conflict of interest.
Okay, let the record show Mr. Gant's recusing, leaving the room.
I would also like to recuse for conflict of interest.
Okay, let the record show that Mr. Franklin's recusing for conflict of interest and leaving the room. Okay, we still have a quorum.
Yes, so this public hearing is a request for final plat approval. The project is Cardinal Point, Section 7, Phase 1, lots 638 through 653, 674 through 685, and 694 through 705. The file is 2506-169 in the developer's Panhandle Homes. The engineer's Fox & Associates. It's located in the Falling Waters District, Tax Map 10, Parcel 104. The site's located on the east side of Atera Lane within the Cardinal Point development that's located on the north side of Hammonds Mill Road. This final plat proposes 40 filler lots on 12.56 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat approval contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $547,920 even. Plat to be released upon receipt of surety.
Okay, who do we have to represent the project?
Good evening. Steve Sianovich with Fox & Associates representing the applicant.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing for Cardinal Point. If you have questions or comments you'd like to make known, please come forward, state your name, your address, and any questions you might have.
Good evening. My name's James Weller. I live at 96 Gunnison Drive. I'm new to this. I moved from the family farm, so I'm not used to living in the community. I'm used to 300 acres. I got a lot of questions about it. What is going to be done about the overwhelming traffic that's going to be put in that area due to the extension of the development? It's bad enough now pulling out of the development onto Hammonds Mill Road, even at 5 7:30 a.m. in the morning, you got to sit there. So you're talking adding another I think there's supposed to be 1,100 some homes. There's only, what, 700 some homes there now. So you're talking average of 2 vehicles per household that you're adding into that community traffic-wise. Is there going to be traffic lights put up? You know, I'm here on behalf of probably 30 people from the community. They just, you know. Also schools, what's going to be done to alleviate the pressures on the local Spring Mill schools? You know, you're going to have a lot more kids in there. What's going to be done with that? Is there going to be any upgrades made to the water and wastewater plants, pump stations, etc.? Because there's going to be a lot more usage, a lot more flow going to them plants. I mean, I haven't personally seen the plants. I don't know what kind of filtration they use or whatever, but what's going to be done to that? I mean, I done know that our water bill is already going up to help alleviate the situation, but nobody's ever told us, hey, this is what's going on. I do know, I've heard that there hasn't been a lot of upgrades to these plants in a lot of years, is what I'm being told. And speaking from experience, I've ran water and wastewater plants for 15 years, and you're talking a lot more flow going under them plants. You're going to need a lot of upgrades, pump stations, etc., to get it there. You know, is Department of Environment stepping in? Hey, you know what? We got to redo their permit, for their discharge permit, their sludge haul permits, etc. We haven't heard anything on that. So, I mean, there's just a lot of ongoing questions about this whole thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I just want to make sure that you guys are made aware of the community's concerns with the traffic, especially. It gets, especially where St. Andrews comes out and butts into Hammond Mill also. I mean, you got to sit there and let people turn right and left and everything else for a while in the evenings. And I know from what I'm understanding about the development, there's going to be 3 other entrances. You know, one of them's going to be on Hammond's Mill and then on the back side and stuff, but all the traffic is still going to end up funneling around to Hammond's Mill Road. So that is a major, major concern. You know, what's going to happen to the traffic? Schools, water, wastewater. I had 3 residents ask me to bring this up at the meeting. I know by West Virginia law, when you buy a home, it's your job to look up whether there's a public easement through your property or whatever. But when you're buying a new home, you can't look up the plaque to tell that. Is there any way possible that when Ryan Homes is selling these homes, like I bought a townhome, when they're selling these homes, shouldn't they have to tell you that over half your front yard is a public utility easement? And what our rights are to that easement. Yes, I know by our HOA regulations or whatever, we have to maintain that. But several people in our community has asked a question, all right, what is our rights to that easement? Because we actually have some people in our community that think it's all right to bring their dogs in and let them crap in the yard. And their thing is, you don't own it. I have talked to HOA, I have talked to Ryan Homes, I've talked to Panhandle Homes. I cannot get an answer. You know, if it is a public utility easement, is it strictly for public utility? Or can anybody just take up half my driveway and go in there and park and there's nothing I can do because I don't own it? What is our rights to that? Shouldn't Ryan Homes have to tell their buyers? Because when you sign that contract, you can look up the plaque. It doesn't tell you that. There's no outline on that plaque of your lot. So we have no clue, and they're not telling us nothing. If I'd have known that, I honestly probably wouldn't have bought it. Because right now my front yard went from here to the wall. Now my front yard is from where I'm standing to here. That's all I own. The rest of the front yard is a public utility easement. We was never explained that by Ryan Homes at all. I mean, at all. And that's very upsetting because now you got people in the community think they can just do what they want. So what is my right as a homeowner there? Do I got to let them bring a picnic table up and set in my front yard? Nobody can tell me. And we're searching for answers, and I'd appreciate any help we can get from you guys on this matter. I don't know where else to turn, and I don't feel like paying an attorney $500-600 to figure this out.
Okay, well, several things that you've asked. One being 901, the traffic, two being the schools. Those are two things that this board has no control over. If you want to talk to someone regarding 901's traffic, I'd suggest that you contact the Department of Highways and see if they can give you an answer that you will be comfortable with. The schools, contact the Board of Education and see what they have to tell you. Dr. Sachs' office, he's the board chairman, so someone there could certainly help you. Water and sewer, I'm going to ask the county engineer to give you an answer on the water and the sewer updates, as well as the easements, because he's probably, well, I'll let legal give you an answer on the easements.
Okay.
And the permitting system, I'll let Laura answer that, updating a permit.
So you can actually probably talk to a lot of that, so whatever he doesn't cover, fill in.
Doug?
Steve Sianovich.
Oh, well, okay. I know
Okay.
you can do it, but I wanted it to come from our staff.
Okay.
So
I
I
can,
know you
I can touch
said,
on, I can touch on the roads a little bit.
Go ahead.
If you want staff to go first, but I can touch on the roads.
Well, I'd prefer.
my
that-
main concern is that you guys are going to vote to approve this, but yet you, and no disrespect, you guys have got one job that I would never, ever dream of wanting to do in my entire life. But, you know, you guys are going to vote to approve this or disapprove it, and you have no clue what's going to happen with the schools, what's going to happen with the roads or the traffic or nothing. And I think that should be a major part of you guys' decision, thinking about the community. So please don't just shove that to the side.
That's not
I
accurate.
can speak, I can speak to the roads.
As far as the roads go, that's not true. We do know.
Would you please stand up so that everybody in the room can hear you?
As far as the roads go, that's not true. We do know what DOH looked at the plan. They decided not to require any further permits, traffic studies, or that was their decision. We don't own the roadways, we don't own the state right of way. Therefore, if DOH says that the entrance as it currently exists out there has capacity, then that's where it lies. As far as water and sewer, if the sewage department has issue with their treatment capacity, they would have addressed that at the preliminary plan or DSP stage. They did not. Same with the water company. They did not take any exceptions other than what you see on the design drawing. As far as an easement is concerned, that is your property. An easement is an easement to allow that utility to exist within your property. But it still belongs to you. You still pay taxes on it.
That's something that I'm being told
But that
totally
easement, if
different.
it says utility, it specifically should be for utility. It's not an egress easement. It's not a doggy easement. It's a utility easement.
Okay, because I know when Ryan Holmes, I questioned Ryan Holmes about that, and our property lines is actually not part of the easement. So we're being told that we don't own that.
I would suggest you look at the final plat, and every lot that's sold that they are selling you has already been platted and should be recorded downstairs. So there is no reason why you cannot see the plat.
Unless they're selling lots where they're platted.
Yeah,
Issue with-
see, ours was, I don't think ours was platted.
Well, I can't.
When you go to closing, it has to be
It
platted.
has to be platted when you go to closing.
Well, like I said, I'm new to this. This is my first new home.
Yeah, when you
so.
go to closing, it's referenced in your deed. It's
Yeah, it
recorded.
has to be. And that lot plat should show up in your closing documents. At least every one I've ever seen.
Okay. Yeah, because they got the property lines way back, so that's what I was wondering.
If you feel like what do you have?
I mean, I just feel that Ryan Holmes should. Because when we went to sign a contract, I actually looked up the aerial view, private property and everything, and there's just not
In order for a permit to even be pulled for a townhouse or a house, it has to be platted.
It has to have.
They can't pull a building permit without that lot being recorded.
I know, but what I'm
So-
saying, I understand that, but what I'm saying is, before the permits was even pulled, they were selling them lots. The permits wasn't even pulled for them.
And that's something that we can't control.
We can't control it.
That's a private
We
business
see that
decision.
happen, but we can't control that lot's sold. If that's 6 up to it. I mean, they would.
Mr. Hardy, did you want to say
No, I'm
something?
good,
about-
thank you.
Steve,
Clarify just one thing.
Sure.
I appreciate Mr. Weller's comments, but when he first spoke, he talked about the 1,100 lots. And that was, if you remember, not so many weeks ago, I was at this very podium presenting the concept plan for Section 8 of Cardinal Point, which took us to that 1144, 1145 count. The reason we're here this evening, of course, is for a final plat for 40 villa lots, not the number of lots that Mr. Weller spoke of. And if I could, and I'll be brief, as far as the water and sewer fees, it's every job, each and every job we do, we have to get a statement of availability from both the water and sewer providers. We also have to get a letter of design approval from both water and sewer providers. That letter of approval then accompanies our submittal to the state in order to get a water and sewer construction permit from the West Virginia Office of Environmental Health Services. Now, I'm sure you're all aware of the SIF fees that are being charged by the PSDs. I could probably count on one hand the number of times during a design of any project that either provider told us we needed to make an upgrade to a force main or to a pump station or make a contribution. And there's been other instances, and again, probably in my career, I count on one hand how many times we were asked to do a water line extension off property to achieve a loop, for example, to ensure that adequate water facilities existed on the property we were developing. I go back to that SIF fee. We're very straightforward with the PSDs from day one. We make a submittal effectively right after we get your concept plan approval. We make a submittal to those PSDs where we outline number of lots, type of lots, water and sewer flow projections, and very, very, very infrequently do we have any type of feedback from those PSDs asking for anything, because the SIF fee that they instituted 5 years ago now is intended to help with those upgrades. Mr. Weller also spoke about, and I'd like to make a comment if I could, on the plats and the easements. I'm familiar with the final plat for Section 6 of Cardinal Point, which is the Gunnison Drive plat. We don't have any easements in the front yards shown on the plat. There's a note that each and every plat, each and every consultant does. We hereby propose, or we hereby dedicate a 10-foot wide drainage and utility easement along all front lot lines and an 8-foot drainage and utility easement along all side and rear property lines. That's effectively for the dry utilities, electric, if we have gas in the community, if we have, cable TV or whatever the case may be. But that's the sole purpose of that, as Doug explained. If it's for says utility, it's for utility, period, not for, a parking field where somebody would pull in the gentleman's driveway. Lastly, as far as each and every time we receive a plat approval from this commission, we usually have it recorded a week or two after I leave this meeting. By habit, I will take that recorded plat and I'll email it to Laura or Sarah, or whoever's running the job from the planning commission's end, and I provide a recorded copy of that plat, which can be viewed on Llama by anybody that wants to look at it. Now, with regard to the reviewing record plats that are available at the courthouse, we have that ability as consultants. We pay a subscription fee. We can do all the looking we want to do for free, But the minute we print a deed or the minute we print a plat, that's when we're billed. We have to, really keep an account current that's always funded with the assessor's office. Traffic and schools were already talked about. St. Andrews, if you remember, from the concept plan meeting for Section 8 of Cardinal Point, I presented a plan from the traffic study that showed a roundabout at the intersection of Hammonds Mill Road and St. Andrews. And I also mentioned that the developer, my client, was expected to fund his fair share of that roundabout. And the way that's normally handled is there's an agreement by and between DOH and Mr. and Mrs. Developer, where you do one of two things. You sign the agreement, which is effectively a promissory note, or if the project is a real project that the state has the ability to receive a check on and place that check in an account that's specific to that project, my client will write that check. So the options are we write a check, they write a check, or we sign, the client signs, the developer signs a promissory note guaranteeing his financial participation in that global improvement for the benefit of not only Cardinal Point or Spring Mills or whatever, but for all the people that even travel through that area, going to Hedgesville, for example. So, Linda, I didn't want to take up too much time, but I hope
Yeah, we really have the public hearing still open, so if there's anyone from the public who wishes to speak before you give us your attention, is there anyone?
I just want to say thank you for the explanation. So finally, I got a couple answers.
Very good. Okay,
I do want to explain this.
okay.
So, as everyone said, don't have a but the moment a sketch plan or a concept related to our office, then full impact form that uses their matrix students per household, calculates how many students sent to the specific schools based on the type of home. We send that to the Board of Education along with the submission. So they're well aware as to what's coming down the pipeline years before it's even.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak regarding Cardinal Point's public hearing?
If not, I move, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes.
I'm Pam White. I live at 310 Eternal Way. And I've just heard a lot of talk recently about a solar farm going in on Coonstown Road, which is right behind where Cardinal Point is. And I was just wondering if it's a factual talk or if it's just something that's not really going to happen or it may happen and what it might impact on Cardinal Point.
This board has not seen anything for a solar farm yet.
We have no submissions.
We have no submissions. Part of that, our regular.
That's it, okay.
We have no submissions.
Okay, that answers my question.
Anyone else wish to speak regarding Cardinal Point public hearing?
If there is no one, I move to close public hearing.
Okay, let the record show that no one else needs to speak from public hearing regarding Cardinal Point. A motion of Mr. Goff to close public hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lewis. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Okay, Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich or of the staff?
Madam President, just a brief comment about Mr. Weller's concern about the school capacity. Public school capacity is a particular concern of mine individually. In this project, if it provides any comfort, during my tenure on the Planning Commission, I saw the most back and forth between the developer and the county commission. I'm sorry, the developer and the Board of Education regarding school capacity. Just a brief recollection, again, Steve's right, this is more to the concept plan in the next phase, but globally, the Board of Education raised the alarm about capacity issues, worked with the developer, and actually information was shared to indicate that more capacity is coming online through the recent bond issue, as well as some adjustment of some of the numbers based upon the type of housing that's being built. And so I commended the developer during that stage for that back and forth, and I'm optimistic that more of that will continue. So that's some of the history that affected the last stage, not in this final plat approval, but in this subdivision. So there has been particular attention paid to that, and I was very pleased at how this particular project played out.
Well, again, I just want to thank everybody for helping clarify some things, and I missed a couple meetings.
All good questions.
So much, I appreciate it.
Okay, is there any further questions from the county, from the planning commission? If not, I need a motion.
Madam President, I make a motion to issue final plat approval contingent receipt of surety in the amount of $547,920.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to approve final plat contingent upon receipt of surety in the amount of $547,920. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Do you want to get them? Next public hearing is Stonecrest.
So this is a public hearing for request for detailed site plan approval. The project is Stonecrest PUD, Lot C5. The file is 2505-134. The developer's Straight Arrow LLC and the engineers Fox and Associates. It's located in the Hedgesville District, tax map 28J, parcel 345. The site's located along the east side of Kettering Drive, located within the Stonecrest PUD community, which is on the west side of Hedgesville Road. The developer is proposing a 4-unit apartment building on 0.51 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The detailed site plan meets the requirements of the subdivision and land use ordinance, therefore staff recommends approval.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent?
Steve Sianovich with Fox representing this project.
Thank you.
Got to recuse again for conflict of interest.
Okay, let the record show that Mr. Gann is recusing once again for conflict of interest.
I will also have to recuse again.
Okay.
Apologize.
And Mr. Franklin. Okay, this is a public hearing for Stonecrest PUD, Lot C5. Anyone wish to speak regarding this public hearing?
If there is no one, I move to close public hearing.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff to close public hearing. Second by Mr. Truitt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich regarding Stonecrest PUD?
Hearing none, Madam President, I make a motion to approve the detailed site plan.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Goff, to approve the detailed site plan for Stonecrest PUD. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing. Sorry. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Do you want to get those guys again and bring them back in? The next public hearing is Ridgecrest subdivision.
This public hearing is a request for major plan change approval. The project is Ridgecrest subdivision, file 2207-215. The developer is J. Hess Group and the engineer is CEC Inc. It's located in the Arden District, tax map 20, parcels 20, 21, and 22.1. The project's located along the southwest side of Paynes Ford Road, approximately 0.85 miles north of the Berkeley-Jefferson County line. This major plan change revises the stormwater management plans due to the disturbance of the wooded areas on lots 19 through 23. Phases 1 and 2 are constructed and only phase 3 remain to be platted or constructed. At the December 17th, 2018 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Appendix A, Section 1.7A, requiring a 150-foot paved diameter cul-de-sac every 1,000 feet of roadway. On June 27th, 2025, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The issues detailed in the July 30th, 2025 Berkeley County Public Service Stormwater District's inspection have been completed pending continued inspection and adequate 70% vegetative growth as required by the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection and the Stormwater District. Staff recommends approval of the major plan change conditional on the following items being incorporated into the major plan change set and calculations. 1, repair the roadway and curb on Nugget to correct the excessive settlement and ensure proper cross slope and drainage for the storm drain inlet. 2, repair the roadway settlement over the culvert on Magenta Way and repair the head wall and barrel to prevent erosion. And 3, confirm and if necessary, repair the basin riser to ensure all orifices have been installed correctly for depth and area of opening, including the low flow 4-inch orifice. And 4, repair the basin as needed to ensure capacity of the basin meets the original storage requirement and ensure the remaining components are operating correctly.
Thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing for Ridgecrest subdivision. Your opportunity to make questions and comments are known at this time. Please come forward, state your name, your address, and any questions you might have.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Ken Allensworth. I live in that subdivision, 25 Nugget Way. I'd like to begin with a few questions. One, is the developer or builder represented here tonight?
Yes.
Could you identify yourself, please?
Mark Mezenot.
Well, miracles never cease. This is our third meeting, and we now have a representative, although Jay Hess has yet to appear at any of these meetings. My lot is number 34. As we discussed at the last meeting, there was some confusion about whether or not previous plans had been remediated. Mr. Bush astutely asked for a 45-day period to review to see if all of that work was done. And it has not, in fact, been done. There is still a silt fence along the easement of my property. I believe the engineering staff said that was not to be there. The Public Service Works Office also said it is not to be there. We're 4 years into home ownership, and it is to be removed, and it has not been removed. So although I think the focus has been on the right side of the road of Magenta, nothing has been done to address the drainage under the bridge, to include almost 500 feet of silt fence. So my question is, I guess to the engineering staff, they indicated that they wanted to go take a look at this and provide some input to this commission. I don't know if that was done and what your findings or recommendations were regarding that visit.
Is that all of your questions, or do you have additional
No.
questions? Well, you want to list them all, and then we'll go and answer them for you.
Okay. Well, my next question would be predicated upon an answer if this had been reviewed or not, because I don't know if the county feels like the requirements have been met, and my contention is they have not been met, and I do not support and would encourage the county commission, the planning commission, to not approve this because the work continues to remain unfinished, and I would just like to get some feedback as to what the county is aware of and what the county plans to recommend that the developer do. to remediate these issues.
Is that it? Okay. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak regarding Ridgecrest? We'll answer all the questions
Okay.
once we've heard all the public comments.
Hi, my name's Noah Pinellas, 120 Nugget Way, and I had a question based upon what was said, just to understand, is the major plan change contingent on Magenta entry being fixed and Nugget Way being fixed? If it is contingent, I just need to understand that more. If it is contingent, just no work has been done on Nugget. That's where we currently reside, and we have not seen any work been done on that, so that was just a question. Okay.
So we're asking that.
I got you. Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak regarding Ridgecrest?
My name is John Canellis, Lot 30 on 120 Nugget Way. Just trying to figure out what are they going to do to change the road, and for Nugget as part of it, like getting it right and what have you like that. I'm just wondering what the steps are going to be like, or what they're going to have to do to fix that road. What impact is going to have on the people that live in phase 2 to get in and out of the neighborhood, if they're going to have to, obviously move if they're going to redo the road or fix it, do whatever needs to be done. What's the impact going to be on having to get in and out of there? Are we going to be able to? And then just making sure that they're asking permission to go on people's properties. They made that a big thing when they were selling those properties, that you weren't allowed to go out and look at the property you were buying, and they trespassed you and all that. I want to make sure that they're asking permission to be on people's property, disturb their property, how they want them to get in. When I had the EPA come out, which I don't know if you know, and they got fined for what they did, when they went onto my property, they crushed the curb, and it's still trashed up. And they said they were going to come back and fix it, and never did. So I'm just making sure that to protect the people in our neighborhood, my neighbors, that if they're coming onto their property, what impact, where are they going to come? Are they bringing, bulldozers or, excavators, whatever they're going to do? Are they getting permission to come on that property? And just a little note that after our last meeting, I wouldn't say 7 days later, something like that, we got HOA threatening liens on people's houses right after this meeting happened, pretty much, because we're questioning, because a lot of people don't want to pay because they live in a neighborhood where their driveway's going down the hill. And then something that Doug had said last time that really took me was, he was talking about how the road was deteriorating, and he said you had to go deeper in because they just didn't do it right. Is that the entire road over there? I mean, I can tell you right now, the road or bridge or whatever you want to call it on Nugget has sunk. I've got pictures. You want them, I'll send them to you. I got before when we first moved there and what it looks like today, to show that road was like this and now it's like that. So, but just really also about that road, is it the entire road from Magenta? Does it also include Nugget? Is there an impact on Nugget? Because as you go up that road, there's just dips that go like that. And then if they are going to eventually do phase 3, what impact is it going to have on that? Should we wait to deal with the road until after they put all the heavy equipment and everything up that road to do the work, and then come back and then address it then? And will he address it once he's sold other houses and tried to give away the HOA like he did before? Because he's already tried to do that and make this our problem and not his problem anymore. So, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak regarding Ridgecrest subdivision?
If not, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Goff and second by Mr. Gant to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of the staff or of the representative from CEC?
Can they respond to those questions
Well,
first before we go?
I just want to tell the commission that this batch of pictures that you have in your packet has been presented by Mr. Smith. And if you want to talk about those, you can certainly do that at this time.
I just got one quick question. They still holding bond, you still holding bond on all this, right?
Yes, sir.
And has the final asphalt been laid? Is it the cap?
And there's only like one street out here that I even recommended to them under the plan change. I can't recommend it under the plan change because the asphalt paving is in the original preliminary plan. So there's like one street that could be paved, basically that was a cul-de-sac. But the rest of this just needs to wait until they get these changes done. And yes, I have encouraged them to do the phase payment. Full phase 1 and 2 out of the bonds, it's ready for release. Once they finish this pension, it's mainly for storm. Then they can pull these two sections out of that.
Right.
As far as, you want me to speak to the rest of this
Yeah,
here?
go ahead.
All right.
You can speak to it, or unless you want the representative.
I'll do it if you want. I mean, we may have missed some silt fence out there on this man's property that should have been pulled if we. Okay, so that silt fence, we want to leave in because they're going to need it when they start construction. So we did leave some of that in, even though Stormwater said they could go ahead and pull it. It's no big deal. As far as Nugget Way and the embankment and the culvert is concerned, what we found out was we have elevations from over 18 months ago. Yeah, we have elevations from them when that road first went in. And I had them go out and shoot this again right after this last meeting. There's one spot where the inlet is, and that's what I requested that we add into the plan change to fix. That inlet settled roughly almost 10 inches. It's a little excessive, but we figured that a lot of that settlement in that area was due to excessive water because that inlet has been overtopped so many times that more than likely it got into the embankment and it settled a little bit more than normal. But the embankment itself and the road surface seems to be steady state. It's settled about the amount that what we would figure it would. There is a part of it that we have requested that they sign because the vertical curve sight distance does not meet the minimum necessary for a 25 mile per hour posting. But that was part of the original design that I did not approve, was done previously, and was already here, and it was caught during the plan change review and the as-built survey that was sent in, where I said the original design wasn't even right. So we had them sign that for the sight distance. Short of ripping out the embankment, which would be crazy at this point, we signed it and we let it go for a warning posting of 20 miles per hour. We asked them to repair this inlet. I would see that no more as a lane closure. It shouldn't inconvenience anyone with there's not that many houses there, that trip generation, a single lane closure there for a couple of days. So they pull that inlet, reset the curb. As far as the other items that were on there, these pictures that you'll see is what came back from both CEC and the MS4 inspection people. There were a couple of things that we noticed on here. We had them added into the plan change. It's our recommendation now that you let the plan change go through so we can get the ponds and the rest of the stormwater issues fixed. that prepares us to take care of all the issues here. Really, it sets the road up to be final surface course, and the developer can be out of here. We can let them go to phase 3 and leave, get this out and resolve the rest of these issues. But the pond work needs to be done immediately. The pond does not have volume. Okay? It's got to get done. Bottom line.
You care to address this?
Been working on this plan change for 2 different engineering companies and for 3 years, trying to get this back to the board. The developer made a mistake, cleared some trees. He's doing some work for additional work for the pond, enlarge the pond, because there's some additional drainage going to it. And we want to get this work completed. So without this plan being approved, he can't complete the work. So, thank you.
So are you saying then that if you get approval from this board this evening for the major plan change, that all the questions in the audience will be answered correctly and accurately?
Yes, ma'am. They're all on the plan to be addressed, and the county's holding the bond for it.
Okay. County Commission members, do you have additional questions? Mr. Smith, can we give these photos to the people in the audience who have questions?
They're in the project file online, but I mean,
They have mine.
They have mine too.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm sure they've seen it because the work was done a few weeks ago.
Okay, well, I just don't know if they want
We had many
anything.
calls when they started the work. There was
We went out the
Laura
day
and I actually
after.
had to go out because they were trying to stop you from doing the work.
We went out the day after the last meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were trying to get we got this to a point finally where we could get the developer out there engaged, to get some of these things addressed. And everybody's trying to do this and show good faith and good effort. And, I kind of feel like I'm having to fight everybody so this guy can just get the work done and get out of there.
Madam President, maybe it would be helpful for the homeowners present to receive just a short summary of what the bond release process looks like.
Sure.
Understanding that that's the security that this work actually gets done. So is there a 10-second version of what the bond release process looks like?
I don't think we have a copy of the bond as it relates to different phases in our packet.
No, but they'll submit a bond application or a bond reduction or release application. Along with that will come in the as-built drawing. I mean, Doug reviews it. Doug knows it in and out, but basically he'll review the as-built to make sure everything was constructed properly the way that it was approved. And then releases will be done based on what work has been shown to be complete, based on inspections, not only from Doug, but from the stormwater district as well.
And just so you're aware, we actually increased the bond.
Right, on the next phase.
Well,
Now.
no.
That's what I meant, before it was approved.
We increased the bond, just not even considering phase 3.
Do you have a total? Do you have a total what the bond is?
Well, all the old bonds are.
Okay, you can see how many acres are on here. The grading bond was only for 2 acres.
That's a
We
lot
don't
of
know,
bonds.
I can't tell you why that happened. But that's existed prior to me. So we did have rounds with the developer. He knows. They were told that they were going to bond up for all of this disturbed area in phase 1 and 2, plus whatever's in 3. So there's money there, but obviously we don't depend on that money in the bond. We need the developer to perform the work and do the work. Taking that bond and me trying to go out and do a capital improvements project, and that's even saying I get all the money back. It'll cost me a large bill for an attorney to get it to start with. So going that route is nothing I depend on at all. Well, we depend on trying to get the developer, finish the work, make everybody happy, in accordance with the plans, So,
Does that satisfy your question?
Yeah, and if a homeowner at that stage of a bond release is not satisfied that the work's been done, there's an opportunity for public input at the county commission stage, correct?
we get calls all the time, and like I said, I get calls that, well, the grass isn't growing in my yard. This isn't right in my yard. Well, you know, a lot of, the bond doesn't cover that. The bond does not cover that. It covers final improvements, roads, streets, utilities.
But the DEP stormwater pollution permit covers that though, because if they don't have all the grass covers, they won't release
It
that.
depends on how the LOD was shown on the original drawing.
For the majority of it though, yeah.
But there's a couple coming in that's.
I've been on both sides. I've had them where they wouldn't release nothing because of a little spot of grass, and then I've seen them where they, like you said, where they had the boundaries. And
You don't like me some days.
I think that I don't like you. It's just I got to know what I need to do.
Yeah, Madam President, my point was just saying that this isn't the end of the conversation.
No.
So that was my
By
only
any
point.
means.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
What was not accurate? At that point in time, ma'am, there were no houses there. The final plat was.
I'm just saying for when they request a bond reduction or request a bond after all this work is done, will it be verified? Is accurate and the accurate representation of what is actually out there, because that is not what happened last time. They provided you guys paper that was not representative of what was accurate.
I think you need to explain what shows up on as-built.
Yeah, I don't think.
Typically, the as-built.
Yeah, I think they're thinking as-built are houses, when that's a mortgage inspection survey.
House placement or anything like that. We're looking for road elevations.
Infrastructure.
Utility elevations, placements, stormwater details, anything that was bonded up in the final, in that bond, and houses and house placement is life. That's for the lot payment. It's kind of bonded, but we don't really look at that unless we know if there was a certain peculiarity or issue or problem area. I would go back and ask elevations or something. Well, this one here, we wouldn't have really been looking at it.
That's the health department.
That's a
Yeah, but I'm
private.
saying you've got the water easement behind the house.
That's the health department.
That would be the health department, but we wouldn't, the private well and septic is never bonded in a subdivision. That's not ever provided until the house is built. Well, they should, yes, but if the county doesn't know that a septic is big, how would we be able to know?
Okay. Yeah. I think some of the questions that you have can be answered other than now because we have closed the public hearing. So if you want to get with the staff, you know, after Ridgecrest is off the agenda and a decision has been made, they can probably answer things for you better than what they can back and forth in this meeting. Okay?
Madam President, given some of the recent back and forth, I'm recalling a set of facts that doesn't create an actual conflict of interest, but maybe a perceived conflict of interest. So at this point, I think it'd be most prudent for me to recuse prior to the vote.
Okay. Let the record show that Mr. Bush is recusing and leaving the room. Okay, Planning Commission members, do you have additional questions of the applicant's representative or of the staff?
There are none. I'll make the motion. We accept staff recommendation. Approve the major plan change conditional on the following items being incorporated in the major plan change set. Repair roadway and curb on Nugget Way to correct excessive settlement and ensure proper cross slope and drainage. Storm drain inlet. Repair roadway settlement over culvert and Magenta Way and repair head wall and barrel to prevent erosion. Confirm and if necessary, repair a basin riser to ensure all orifices have been installed correctly for a depth opening, area of opening, including low flow, 4 and 1 orifice. Repair the basin as needed to ensure capacity of the basin to meet original storage requirements and ensure remaining components are operating correctly.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gant, second by Mr. Franklin, to accept the staff recommendation, that is to approve the major plan change with the 4 items that are listed in our staff report being completed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're moving on to final plat determination, Bridle Creek, Phase 10.
I need to recuse for conflict of interest.
Okay. Let the record show that Mr. Gant is recusing for conflict and leaving the room. You can send Mr. Bush back in.
I also need to recuse.
And Mr. Franklin is recusing for conflict, as it is conflict for you, right?
Correct.
Okay.
This request for final plat determination is for Bridle Creek Phase 10, lots 604 through 650. The file is 2506-170. The developer is Panhandle Homes and the engineer is Fox and Associates. It's located in the Apecan District, Tax Map 7, Parcel 1. This project's located along the east and west sides of Barrel Race Road at the terminus of Furlong Way within the Bridle Creek subdivision. This phase proposes 47 single-family residential lots on approximately 31 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers or exceptions have been requested. On August 12th, 2025, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. Therefore, staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 6th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent Bridle Creek?
Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates representing the applicant.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Sianovich or the staff?
Hearing none, Madam President, I make a motion to approve final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Lewis, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to conduct a public hearing on October 6th, at which time the final plat could be approved. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Next project is Middle Creek Vistas. You want to call those 2 guys back in?
They should be out there. This request for final plat determination is for Middle Creek Vistas Phase 1, Section 4, lots 14 through 18 and 28 through 32. The file is 2505-135, and the developer is Warfield Homes, Inc., and the engineer is Morrison Ritchie Associates. It's located in the Mill Creek District, Map 7, Parcel 3.2. This project is located approximately 2,500 feet south of the intersection of Sailor's Way and Strobridge Road, with Middle Creek running through the middle of the site. The developer is proposing 10 single-family lots on approximately 1.86 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the April 20th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Article 5, Section C2 of the Berkeley County Stormwater Management Ordinance, which requires stormwater management quantity control. On August 22nd, 2025, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to represent Middle Creek Vistas? Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of the representative from Middle Creek or of the staff?
There are no questions. I'll make a motion. We accept staff recommendation. Final plat meets requirements of subdivision ordinance. Therefore, I'll make the motion that final plat determination and be advertised for a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval on October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Gant, second by Mr. Bush, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to conduct a public hearing on October 6, 2025, to consider final plat approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is Middle Creek Vistas Phase 1, lot, Section 5.
This request for final plat determinations for Middle Creek Vistas Phase 1, Section 5, lots 19 through 27. The file is 2507-210, developers Warfield Homes, Inc., and the engineers Morrison Ritchie Associates. It's located in the Mill Creek District, tax map 7, parcel 3.2. The project's located approximately 2,500 feet south of the intersection of Sailor's Way and Strobridge Road, with Middle Creek running through the middle of the site. The developer is proposing 9 single-family lots on approximately 1.68 acres to be served by public water and sewer. At the April 20th, 2020 Planning Commission meeting, the developer was granted a waiver to Article 5, Section C2 of the Berkeley County Stormwater Management Ordinance, which requires stormwater management quantity control. On August 26, 2025, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the above-mentioned project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. You want to represent the project again? Give us your name.
Shannon Dulaney with Warfield Homes.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Delaney or of the staff?
There are none. I'll make the motion. We accept staff recommendation. Final plat meets the requirements of subdivision ordinance. Therefore, I'll make the motion. The final plat determination and advertising for a public hearing consideration of final plat approval at October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bush, second by Mr. Franklin. And that is to conduct a public hearing on October 6th, at which time the final plat will be considered for a final plat approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The last one is Burwell, Communities of Burwell.
This request for final plat determination is for communities of Burwell Phase 13, lots A1 through A6, A55 through A59, J1 through J8, K1 through K7, K15 through K54, and L47 through L71. The file is 2502-041. The developer is Burwell Properties LLC, and the surveyor is Roberts Land Surveying. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 13, parcel 10 and 10.4. The site's located on the north side of Knipetown Road, approximately 2,000 feet east of its intersection with Ropp Drive. The project proposes 91 residential lots on approximately 9.8 acres to be served by public water and sewer. No waivers have been submitted for this section. On August 28, 2025, County Engineer Doug Smith deemed the project compliant with the subdivision ordinance. The final plat meets the requirements of the subdivision ordinance, therefore staff recommends final plat determination and advertising of a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval at the October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to represent Communities of Burwell?
Yes, Mike Roberts, represent the project.
Thank you. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of Mr. Roberts or of the staff?
There are none, I'll make the motion, we accept staff recommendation, final plat meets the requirements of subdivision ordinance 2009. Therefore, I'll make the motion that final plat determination and advertising for a public hearing for consideration of final plat approval on October 6, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, Mr. Gantz, second by Mr. Bush, to accept staff recommendation, and that is to conduct a public hearing on October 6, 2025, at which time the final plat could be determined for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mike. Staff council discussion, action, motion. Anything?
The next phase of the comp plan bring through, I think it's in a few weeks. They haven't sent me anything, but I'll send it out.
Okay. Planning Commission members, do you have additional questions?
I move to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Goff to adjourn, second Mr. Truitt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion